All right, so today I will be using a stencil for my background, and I'm also going to be using this Spellbinders Deck the Halls die that I picked up during their sale. So you may already have this in your stash. If I can find it online, I will link it down below if you're interested in having this die. The stencil is from Neat and Tangled, so they are no longer in business. So you may be able to find a similar pattern of a stencil, and if I do find one, I'll link it down below as well. But that is what I'm going to be using for my background. And then to create my background, I'm actually going to be using this Silver Pops of Color. You can pick these up over at scrapbook.com. You can also use Nuvo drops. I have tons of those as well, but lately I've been picking up these pops of color to use in my stash for projects like this. All right, so first thing I am going to do is I'm going to take my mint tape from scrapbook.com. This is just a low tack tape. You can also buy, I think it's like sticky note tape. You can buy that. I have some of that in my stash as well, but this works well to just hold your projects and your stencils in place when you are doing things such as stenciling or inking or whatever you are doing. So I'm just going to tap that down. I have some older pieces of tack tape here, and if they hold, which it looks like it may not, I've used this quite a bit. But this is just good inexpensive tape to have for die cutting and stenciling. So yeah, I'll leave that there. I'll link that down below if you're interested as well. So as you can see, I did not do a good job of cleaning off my stencil after the last time I used it, so I'm gonna have to remember to do that this time. But I want to create an A2 sized card, and these squares are a tad bit under an inch, because I use that square for a 3x3. So I'm just going to go through and do as much of this as I can so I can cut down what I'd like to use for my background. So again, taking this silver glitter pops of color and going in and just putting it down. All right, guys, so I was doing a good job at going in between the lines, but then they got a bit overfilled. So I decided the quicker way to do this is to just add some of the pops of color and use something to scrape it down. I do have a scraper, it's just eluding me right now, so I'm just going to use this silicone brush I have in my stash to use for mixed media projects, and I'm just going to scrape the pops of color down over the stencil. And I've used way too much, as you can see. All right, so there that is. And as you can see, my brush wasn't the cleanest, so I did have some mixing of colors and little spots, but I'm going to cut this down so that's perfectly okay. And I'm just going to take this scrap card that I was working on, and I'm going to do this again with what is left on my brush, just so I'm not wasting product. All right, so I went ahead and I die cut out the die. I used some blue foil cardstock that I picked up from Michael's, and I cut the rest of the images out in white. I also cut the Deck the Halls in white, and I just backed it. I just backed this piece with it. But yeah, so I already layered that up, and I think what I'm going to do is I want this to be non-traditional in the sense of using silver and blue instead of like silver and red, silver and green, silver and gold. So what I'm going to do is just take this scrap piece of paper here. First, I'm going to ink up a few of these little snowflakes. Not sure if I'm going to actually use them, but I want to go ahead and ink those up. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that back piece either. So I'm just taking one of my little makeup brushes from the Dollar Tree and the Pumice Stone Distress Oxide, and I'm just going to add a bit of that to these snowflakes to give them a pop. And again, I'm not sure if I want this to stay this color, but it should be a small bit of contrast to the glitter, the silver glitter on the background that is over here drying. Okay, so those are inked. And now what I'm going to do is, all right, so this is how my two backgrounds are looking. One is more you know, defined, and then the other, I actually like these tattered edges, like where the glitter just barely went into the stencil. So I think I'm going to try using this first. All right, so this is what I'm left with, and I actually like this. I like this look a lot. So in my head, I want to add this, but I want it to move. I don't want it to be just stuck here. I want it to move. So I'm going to add a brad to this so that it has the freedom to move from side to side. Now I am going to play around with the placement for this. I want it in the center. So I'm just gonna use my pokey tool and put a hole through the page there. Take my image and my brad and just line them up, put them in here, and go ahead and fold that down to be secure. So now it moves a bit, just so it's more like a ornament hanging. I do have this light blue bow that I'm going to attach here, and use this glue again. Just put a big dab there so it does not move. And I think I want this side. So now we have some different blues going on, and then the snowflake at the top. All right, so the die also comes with a piece to make like the string for hanging. So I'm just going to tuck that under or in the center, the brad, and place it up. And there we are. And it still moves. So then we have a couple of these snowflakes to place around. And I think I want it to look something like this. All right, so there you go. Here is my top fold card. I have some stenciling with the pops of color. I added the snowflakes and just added the distress ink to those. Added some sequins, and then I left it so the deck the hall swings like an ornament would. Added the little bow and the snowflake brad. There you go. There's my card. All right, guys, so that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.